Hi everyone, Nevada Nail Person. So today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Volume 3 eyeshadow palette. So I did pick this up at the recent Sephora VIB event. I don't know if it had a particular name, I don't remember it offhand, but it was a come in before 10 a.m., come in at 8:30 and shop event. So I did go there with the intention of looking at this palette, most likely picking it up, which I did, and I'm very happy I did. But it is a particular type of palette, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on it overall. So this is volume 3, and Tarte did release the original palette, which looks like this, so you can get a side-by-side comparison. This was from, I guess, a year or two ago. I don't know the timeline actually, but you can see there's some darker shades on this palette overall, and this one's a little bit brighter and shimmery. It stated it was the warmer version of this palette, but I think there's some warm and maybe a few cool in here as well. But this was a great palette, so when I heard they had another version of this palette, I was very excited. They also have a volume 2, which is primarily cooler tones. I did not pick that up. I'm not really the biggest fan of the cooler tone shadows. So overall, pretty happy with this palette. 8 shades. There's one shade in particular that's like I guess you'd say it's more of a satin shade. I had to think about that for a minute. I would hope it would have been a matte, but I guess because of the texture, it's more of a satin type shadow. So that is called Tiki, and it's swatched over here. Trying to find it. There it is. So that is Tiki. It's very light and barely visible on my skin. So you could imagine on your eyelid, it's more of a transition shade. Just kind of blanks out your little canvas there to apply some other eyeshadows. That being said, you'll see in the demo I did pull in my Benefit Hoola bronzer as a crease shade as well, and a little bit underneath the lower lash line just to deepen things out, because I wanted a matte shade for that. So I shared Tiki with you. Now we'll go to the next shade, which I am looking at clockwise. So from my perspective, the next is called Heat Wave, and this is Heat Wave. So Heat Wave would be like a lighter rose gold, I guess we'd say. This next shade is called Malibu. So now we have a classic warmer brown shade. The next shade is called Raise, and like a lighter bronze shade, I would say. All shimmery from this point, from Tiki on, we're all shimmer. So this is Raise, and that is currently what I have on my eyelid and what I used in the demo as well. Then we have Compass. So this would be Compass. So that's like a lighter gold, I would say. And then we have Jewel, which is more of a bronze, I would say. So that would be Jewel. The next shade here is Treasure, which is the lightest shade, I would say, overall in the palette, and what I use for an inner highlight as well. And then the last shade is Escape. So that's Escape, and that's just a light champagne type of shade. So that's Treasure. So overall, using this palette it depends on your style of makeup. If you prefer having some matte shades, you're not going to get it here. You'd have to pull in another palette. So if that's something you don't like doing, then you're not going to like this. But that being said, it's easy enough to use. If you do use a bronzer, I would say, use that in your crease, and then you should be fine, because that would certainly complement the shades in this palette. So yeah, if you're willing to do that and you like these shimmery shades, great, you're on the right track, go for it. And then the second thing I wanted to mention is the application. It does even say on the website it's better applied with a finger. So I did initially go in with a brush to just get that wash of color, and then I would go in with my finger. So there is the ray on the finger. So I would apply it directly to my lid with my finger, and then I would get more of that intensity. So yeah, so just so you know, it's better off used with a finger to get the intensity and the shimmer that you see when you swatch it. So just an FYI. So it's $36, and yeah. So I'm going to go into the demo right now, and I will show you how I applied it to get the look that I have on right now. Okay, so we're going to start with Bobbi Brown's eyeshadow stick in Sand Dune, and I'm going to apply it to my lid and lower lash line, and then ultimately blending out with my finger. Then I'm going to use Marc Jacobs Highliner in Rococo on my inner rim, upper and lower. Now I'm going to go into the eyeshadow palette and pick up the shade Tiki on a Sigma E40 and use that as a transition shade and blend it onto the lid and the crease and the lower lash line as well with a pencil brush. Now I'm going to use Benefit Hoola in the crease as well, just to deepen things up, because this palette does not contain a deeper shade, or a deeper matte shade, I should say. And that is just my preference. So of course applying to the lower lash line as well, and deepening the crease a little more with the pencil brush. Now I'm going into the shade Raise from the palette. Typically I would go in with the brush, spread it out, and then apply with my finger, but of course I did things backwards here. So I applied it with my finger and then I blended it out with a brush. Same brush, easy look, and then applied with my finger as well. And double application just to deepen it up in the center. Now I'm using the shade Treasure or Escape, one of those two, in the inner corner, one of the lighters. And then I'm using the Burberry Mascara in Cat Lashes just to finish things up. I actually like this wand, and the brush rather. And there we go. So that is the look, a little bit more on the bottom lash line. Fixing the inner corner. And I'm done. Easy little look with this palette. There you go. So overall, this palette is just something to think about. If you're that die-hard makeup addict and you love picking up new palettes, you might like this. It's a nice summer edition, very light and shimmery. So if you like that kind of look, then you'll be happy with that. But if you're more of a matte type person, you're not going to like this palette. So just so you know. And then another usage for this palette, I like multitasking as much as possible. I used Treasure and Escape, so these two lighter shades, as a highlight. So down, the tip of my nose, cheekbones, Cupid's bow, whatnot. I just incorporated this palette into the highlight situation as well. So that is it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll leave the bubble here to subscribe and feature last week's makeup review and demo as well. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.